order, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Tuesday, June the 23rd City Council meeting. I now call this meeting to order. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, should he desire, by Councilman Oglesby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If we can have the flag, please.
I'm working on it. I don't have the flag coming up as an option. You may have to go without it, sir. Everybody find their own. I cannot bring it up.
Okay, if you'll all please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the
Republic
for which
which
it stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
and justice
justice
for all. Oh, okay. Thank you. Tonight, I've asked a very good friend of mine and pastor of Temple Baptist Church, located right here in District 7 off Rossville Boulevard, Pastor James Rushing Jr. Pastor, would you please lead us in prayer, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Father, we do thank you for the day that you've given us, because we're told in your word that this is the day that the Lord hath made, and we should rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, I thank you for our country, and I thank you for the community that in which we're privileged to live. Lord, I thank you for these men and women who serve on the city council. They've been tasked with leading our city. And Lord, they've been tasked with leading through challenging times. I pray that as they meet tonight, you'll give them wisdom to know what is right. You'll give them courage to do what is right. And you'll give them protection for themselves and their families. And Lord, we pray our blessing upon our city and country. Lord, may we have eyes that see clearly your plan, hearts that are devoted to following it, and may we rejoice as we see your hand at work. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor Rushing. I move the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Oglesby, you may or may not have known that is my pastor.
That's why I asked them to come tonight.
You knew I needed it, didn't you?
Yeah,
Okay,
we needed his prayer tonight, and he's a very good deliverer of the word, and I thought having him pray tonight would be just what we needed.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Okay, we have no special presentations tonight. Can I have approval of the minutes?
Moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and take a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
yes,
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
yes,
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
It's 9 yeses.
motion approved. Okay, before we move into our order of business, there was some questions or comments about at our 3:30 agenda session about our public comment time. If the council would like to address the speaking time tonight, now would be the appropriate time to do so. If not, if I don't see any hands, we'll move on, and we will keep our rules as they are written.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, maybe if I can chime in
Vice
here.
Chair? Yep.
We currently have 33 people signed up. So we should have about the same amount of time that we need last week. It does appear that the topics are once again the same as they have been in weeks past. I'm fine. I don't have any issue with having to limit it due to the total number of speakers. But we may want to consider to also allow the 2 minutes, just so as to be fair to everybody in the last 2 weeks that spoke on these topics that only had 2 minutes. I would move that we do that just to stay fair with the previous meetings that we had.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor for a 2-minute time limit per person. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby. You're muted.
You're muted, Councilman.
Sorry, yeah, yes. Thank you.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
okay. Motion to limit speakers to 2 minutes carries 9-0. Let me just mention, and Vice Chair Smith, I'm not sure, it seems like we're having a little bit of trouble in our Zoom meeting with pictures freezing, maybe sound being distorted. Let me just say, if I happen to go out and you're still functional, if you would assume the chair, please, sir.
Happy to.
Thank you. All right. Now our order of business, 5A, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance hereinafter, also known as the fiscal year 2020 through 2021 operations budget, providing revenue for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2021, appropriating same to the payment of expenses of the municipal government, fixing the rate of taxation on all taxable property in the city, and the time taxes and privileges are due, how they shall be paid, when they shall become delinquent, provided for interest and penalty on delinquent taxes and privileges, amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 2267, relative to paid leave for active duty training, and to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 31, Sections 3136, 3137, 3141, and 3143, Sections 31322 and 31354.
And this is the alternate version. Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions, comments concerning this item? I see no hands. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
No.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
Like, that's eight yeses.
okay. Motion to approve alternate version passes 8-1. 5B, please.
An ordinance amending, appropriating, authorizing, an ordinance appropriating, authorizing, and allocating funds to the capital improvements budget for the fiscal year 2021 through 2021. That's 2020 through 2021.
Councilwoman Burrs, followed by Councilman Oglesby.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor with a proper second. Any questions or comments? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
No.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 8 yeses.
motion carries. 5C, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to amend conditions 2, 3, and 5 of ordinance number 13187 for property located at 4905 Central Avenue, more particularly described herein.
Move to approve the alternate version.
Second.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yes. I've moved to
Okay, I'm
approve.
sorry, I didn't get, did you make a motion?
Yeah, I moved to approve the alternate
Okay.
version.
Okay, move to approve alternate version. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes. Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 9 yeses.
okay. Motion passes 9-0. Ordinances on first reading under finance, Madam Clerk, 6A.
An ordinance to amend ordinance number 13473 here and after, also known as the fiscal year 2019 through 2020 operations budget, providing revenue for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019 and ending June 30, 2020, appropriating same to the payment of expenses of the municipal government, fixing the rate of taxation on all taxable property in the city, and the time taxes and privileges are due, how it shall be paid, when there shall become delinquent, provided for interest and penalty on delinquent taxes and privileges, amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 2267, relative to paid leave for active duty training, and to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 31, Section 3136, 3137, 3141, and 3143, Sections 31322 and 31354.
Mr. Chair, you with us? Let's move on then. Councilwoman Burrs.
Yes, thank you. I understand that Ms. Madison wanted to add some clarifying language, and I don't have that. So could Ms. Madison come forward?
We can make that happen.
You're muted, Daisy.
Thank you, Council Chair and Budget Chair. Before you is a budget amendment for the FY20 budget that is necessitated by the national and local emergencies that Chattanooga has endured. And the numbers that are in the budget right now does not address those emergencies. So we would like to add some whereases to that ordinance to basically clarify the reason for the budget amendments. And I will read them out to you so that you will hear them because you may not have them. Whereas pursuant to TCA 6-56-205, a governing body shall not make any appropriations in excess of estimated available funds, except to provide for an actual emergency threatening the health, property, or lives of the inhabitants of the municipality. And whereas President Donald Trump declared COVID-19 a public health emergency under the Public Health Service Act on January 31, 2020, issued 2 national emergency declarations under both the Stafford Act and the National Emergencies Act on March 13, and invoked emergency powers via an executive order under the Defense Production Act on March 18. And whereas on March 12, Governor Bill Lee issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency to facilitate the treatment and containment of COVID-19. And whereas on March 19, 2020, Mayor Andy Byrd declared a state of emergency in the city of Chattanooga in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas on April 12 through 13, 2020, an extensive storm involving multiple tornadoes, flash flooding, and high water damages resulting in death and injury to persons and destruction of property in large areas of the city of Chattanooga. Those whereases will be added to the existing amendment with your approval.
Okay, so what you're doing, I believe, is is saying that it's justification because we're going to be getting the money back, right, from FEMA?
No, not all of it. You have two things going on here. The ordinance is addressing a shortfall in revenues, and those shortfall in revenues is because of this emergency.
Yeah, I
And
got
then we are also experiencing
Okay.
increases.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Chair, I guess I'm moving the amendment, what she said.
Second.
Mr. Chair, you back with us, or?
If you would go ahead and run the meeting, I seem to be having some technical difficulties on my end. If you don't mind, just to go ahead and
Okay.
continue running the meeting.
Yes, sir. All right, so we have a motion to amend on the floor with a proper second. I see no other hands. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
that's 9 yeses.
Thank you.
Councilwoman?
Yes. And I want to move the original motion as amended, please.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no other hands, to move the item as amended. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
9 yeses.
All right. Let's move on. Madam Clerk, next.
A resolution recognizing the city of Chattanooga as being essential and in support of fair and direct federal emergency support to reopen and rebuild local American economies.
Councilwoman Coonrod, followed by Councilman Byrd.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Seeing no other hands, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
What?
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
9 yeses.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to B, please.
A resolution adopting a 5-year capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2021 through 2025, subject to future revision, a copy of which is attached here to and made a part hereof by reference.
All right. Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
Councilwoman Coonrod.
Second.
All right.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Seeing no other hands, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
9 yeses.
All right. Thank you. D, please.
A resolution expressing the intent of the city of Chattanooga to issue bonds in the aggregate amount not to exceed $11 million of the city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, for the purpose of paying all or a portion of the cost of the following: 3rd, 4th Street, Alton Park Connector, field lighting, Greenway Farm Conference Center replacement, Lake Resort Drive Law Enforcement Training Center, Library Children's Area roof replacement, Midtown Pathway, Power to Protect, a resilient public safety microgrid project in partnership with DPB, sidewalks, Station 15 replacement, YFD Center improvements, and YFD East Lake renovation.
Thank you. Councilwoman Burrs, followed by Councilman Oglesby.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
yes,
9 yeses.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to D, please.
A resolution authorizing the interim treasurer to execute a contract in substantially the form attached with Fidelity Information Services, FIS LLC, to provide merchant card services for the city of Chattanooga for 1 year beginning July 1, 2020, plus 4 one-year extensions for an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
Councilman Gilbert.
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Seeing no other hands, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
yes,
it's 9 yeses.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to E, please, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the Chief Information Officer for the Department of Information Technology to extend the existing blanket agreement, PO number 554187, with BG Staffing, Inc., related to contracted labor for 12 additional months beginning May 29, 2020, and ending May 28, 2021. The first renewal of 2 optional renewals for an amount not to exceed $1.1 million each.
All right. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. I will take that as a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Yeah.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
yes,
9 yeses.
All right. Very good. Let's move on to the next item, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to execute a contract with Orange Grove Center, Inc. for the agreement to manage and operate the recycling collection centers and refuse collection centers for fiscal years 2021 through 2025 for an amount not to exceed $3,626,316.18.
All right. Councilman Mitchell, followed by Councilman Oglesby.
Move approval.
Second.
All right. Very good. Got a motion and a second. Seeing no other hands, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
yes,
9 yeses.
All right. Thank you very much. There's the rest of those items. That brings us to purchases. Miss Lydia,
Yes, sir.
you bring on Mr. Sammons, I'm assuming, will handle purchases for us this evening.
I will look for him. There we go.
Mr. Sammons, you with us?
I am.
All right, sir.
Good evening to each of you, members of council.
Good evening.
We have for you a few new purchases for your approval, and there are a few emergency purchases to bring to your attention as well. Starting with the first 4 new purchases from the Waste Resource Division of Public Works. The first item being MSA safety parts being awarded to Gexpro for an estimated annual cost of $200,000. Next, lime kiln dust being awarded to Mintech Resources Incorporated for an estimated annual cost of $360,000. The next item is sewer wall mount grinder being awarded to Bar Environmental for an estimated annual cost of $59,800. Next, 1 tractor and 2 utility vehicles being awarded to Kubota of Chattanooga for an estimated annual cost of $57,702.28. The next item from the Department of Human Resources. The purchase of stop loss insurance service being awarded to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee for an estimated annual cost of $508,080. The last item from the Youth and Family Development Office of Family Empowerment. That item is strategic planning services being awarded to Jeannie Chafin LLC for an estimated annual cost of $30,500. And that concludes all the new purchases for this evening.
All right. Thank you, sir. What's the pleasure of the council? Oh, hold on a moment. Mr. Noblet, did you need to comment now?
Not now, just in the other business portion.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Then I move for approval.
Second.
All right. I've got a motion and a second to approve purchases. Seeing no other hands, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
9 yeses.
All right. Thank you. All right.
And
So that
in
takes us to other business. And Phil, you had your hand up and put it back down. Mr. Noblet, you have the floor, sir, and then we'll go around the circle.
Yes, briefly, as we discussed this afternoon, we have recommended the settlement of a claim involving consent decree contract number W14006-201 to 3D Enterprises Contracting Corporation in the amount of $85,003.41. That would resolve any claims for extra work that was done in connection with a large clarifier upgrade here at Moccasin Bend. And that has been the recommendation of our office and the folks at Public Works.
All right. Thank you, sir. And that is just something you need to make us aware of, Phil?
Yes, sir. I believe so during the meeting. And if there's any reason not to do that, that's above my authority limits. And that's why I wanted to present that in other business.
Very good. Do you need any further approval of this body for that, Phil, or just the notice is good enough?
I believe the notice will work unless Ms. Daisy tells us we need something more later on here in that regard. I was trying to do that in this public meeting so that that could be included. And the budgetary amounts are available through Public Works already.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say to you guys, thank you so much for all your hard work. And I know it's a stressful time during this process, especially of the budget hearing. And I want to thank the mayor's staff for working truly hard to present us with a budget. Although that I wasn't in solidarity with my colleagues, I want you to know that I will be working hard and tirelessly nights to make sure that we all get to the right thing, and that is what's best for Chattanooga. I want to ask the staff to please, with this new line item, the Office of Resilience, to reach out to Christmas in District 8, Mallory Marsh, PPCH with Alan Green, Reach One, Teach One with Reggie, Fatherly Figure with T. Jones and Brian, I Am Foundation with D'Angelo Davis, Urban Policy Institute with Dennis Clark, and Miss Deborah Johnson. And I'm pretty sure it would be other names added to this list. I will be submitting it to the staff to just get a sit down with these organizations who are doing the work. And they're doing the work out of their own pocket. And I just think they will be a great additive to this new line item. And I look forward to working with my colleagues and the mayor's staff on making sure we get Chattanooga to the place we all want it to be. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. I do want to say thank you to my colleagues for the hard work, the willingness to talk about the hard issues that we're facing today, and actually, you know, wanting to move forward with things that are solutions that's workable for everybody. Thank you to the administration for your listening ears and making the adjustments that you could make at the time during this budget. You know, we got a long road ahead of us, but I'm hopeful that everybody is down for that long haul. And I do just want to, I'll be emailing list of people because I don't want to confuse people with, you know, nonprofits that are doing work and that may be seeking funding. That's not the objective of the Office of the Community Resilience. It's not created to give money to people that's doing work. And so I don't want to, you know, get those wires crossed. But each of them are doing the great work, and I would love for them to be shown how they can, you know, and get it, fill out something through the BFO process if that's still the way that it'll be going with that. Also, just want to bring it up again about council doing the racial equity and reconciliation. You know, doing that reconciliation, that's very important for us to do. I'm looking forward to working with you, Councilman Mitchell, on that. And then I just want to add one last thing is I would like to say a couple of two more things, Chair, if I may. Is that when we get started on the budget since July the 1st, I would like us to see how we can do it a little differently, because by the time the city council receives the budget, to me, that's not enough time. We need to be included in the budget process during the whole time, the whole year. I would like to see if those changes can happen, and then also with public engagement with their comment, not just limiting them for, you know, the 1 or 2 months that we may hold a session for 3 districts. I think we need more than that. And 2 hours to just talk about the budget is just not enough. I think we need to break it down with the priority areas and have multiple sessions over across each district to give people the opportunity to have more input. And, you know, it should just be an open line of communications, even if it's through sending an email. And then I just want to share this with you guys. A video was released of the Hamilton County Sheriff Department that was beating a Black guy. That happened on May the 23rd. This issue, I've had emails about it and calls about it. It's not a city council. It's not in our jurisdiction. Just like the education, what happens with the school board, the county commission when they're governing their things, and things that they've been saying as far as what they're willing to do to legislate policies. I just want to give you guys the appropriate phone numbers to reach out to them, county commit, because they're your elected officials as well. To reach the county commissioners, that number is 423-209-7200. If you want to reach out to your county mayor, Jim Coppinger, his phone number is 423-209-6105. And if you want to reach out to Sheriff Hammonds, his office number is 423-209-7000. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there anybody else with other business to discuss? All right. Seeing no hands, let's go to committee reports. Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, sir. We finished the preliminaries of the budget. The budget dollars have been approved. I think the really hard work starts now. As Councilman Mitchell said, I think we need to start implementing the policies and enlarging on the programs that already exist with the city. And I think that's the really hard work. So thanks to my colleagues. You've been wonderful. You've been supportive. And now the hard work begins, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Mitchell?
We had a Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting today, Mr. Chair, and we'll have another one in 2 weeks after agenda session.
Very well. Councilman Ledford?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were to have a special planning and zoning meeting today talking about the vegetative components of our steep slopes progress, but we're going to move that to July 7th, and there will be a packet coming out ahead of that. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Councilman Oglesby?
No report.
All right. Councilman Byrd?
Thank you, Chair. June the 30th, we will be having a public safety committee meeting, and we will be discussing the oversight board that's there for the police department. Ask everyone to tune in and thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilman Gilbert?
No report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Coonrod?
Yes, we heard today from LaRon Jennings as he talked about the great things that the Office of Family Empowerment are doing now. And I just ask constituents, if you need any help, if you would like to take advantage of these services that we have to offer, please reach out, because we want to make sure that we're connecting you, that we're putting you on the path of upward mobility. That's what we're here for. Do not go another day without getting the help that you deserve. And that's what you elected us for, to make sure we're advocating on your behalf for every area of your life. So give us a call, give us an email so we can get you connected. Thank you, Chair.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, are you back in a stable position, sir?
I've never been accused of being stable, sir.
All right, well, I'll try not to do that
I
for
will be
you. I
happy
just
to resume the chair, and yeah, I'll try to resume the meeting if as long as I can anyway.
all right. If not, I'm here for you, sir. So I will turn
Okay.
it back over to you.
So we are now ready for persons wishing to address the council. As voted on earlier, we did limit that to 2 minutes per person. I guess what I would do at this time, if you have registered to speak, Vice Chair, I guess you could let me know if they have registered, but I just ask them to raise their hand. We could do it like we did last week.
We can do that, sir, if that's the way you'd like, or we could read them. Being that there are 34, it's kind of your preference, sir.
Let's try to just raising our hand.
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, would you read the rules, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Since March the 20th, we've been allowed to do these virtual Zoom meetings in connection with this. And the notice is provided on the City Council's website here about how these meetings occur. For any public comments at the end of the meeting, the chair will recognize members who wish to address the council. And here's your procedural rules. Each speaker wishing to address can only be recognized after the speaker has provided some identification, including the speaker's name, address, and council district before addressing the council. Tonight, no person can have more than 2 minutes to speak and an opportunity to try to give everyone a chance to talk. The speaker may address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not on matters which are not under the authority of the council or are regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. And the speaker shall not be permitted to use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address your comments to the council as a whole, not towards individual council members. At this point in time, then with those instructions, you were free to make comments at this point, subject to the council's rules.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Ms. Lydia, would you bring in Jacoby Edwards, please?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Go ahead, Mr. Edwards, with your name and district, please.
Yes. Hi, my name is Jacoby Edwards. Due to safety based off of the recent protests and everything, I don't feel comfortable giving my address, but I will say that I am under Anthony Byrd's district. I'm coming to you before the council. First off, my name is Jacoby Edwards. I'm a student at UTC. I'm a veteran, a business owner, and as a whole, I am a creative. During my time in Chattanooga, I've been stopped by the police on 3 occasions. 2 of those, there were physical evidence that I ever got pulled over. The incident normally ending in me being lucky, or I need to keep my head down and out of trouble, boy. After the past few weeks, our police chief, David Roddy, parades himself with like a show pony, smiling in the people's face while giving the order to attack peaceful protesters. Now that the initial outrage has calmed down a bit, what is the end result? There is a video circulating through Chattanooga of another case of police brutality. And most notably, $1 million were allocated to the Office of Public Safety. This is a good measure. I urge the council to ask why information with the Police Advisory Review Board isn't publicly accessible, why we don't know who the members of the board are, and why as a whole we are allocating money to a separate office and not resources already available. So I ask you to review
I'll have to
that.
let you know that your time is up. Thank you, Miss Lydia. At this time, would you bring in Ben Campbell, please?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to try to bring a timer up while we're waiting on Mr. Campbell.
Good. Okay.
I'm here if you can hear me.
I can. Go ahead.
All righty. A gentleman by the name of Reginald Arrington was arrested on May 23rd and was abused and beaten repeatedly by 3 Hamilton County PD. In a dash cam video released today, you can see the officers violently throw him to the ground. While on the ground, 2 of the officers are seen holding down Arrington as he screams and cries out.
Mr. Campbell, can I stop you? Mr. Campbell, let me stop you right there, okay? And let you know we have no authority over the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department.
I have a point to make. Do not cut me off.
If you would like to speak to us about the Chattanooga Police or others, that will be fine.
This is disrespectful. I have something to say. You cannot just cut me off.
Well, I was instructed earlier by council that we want.
All right, well, I'm going to keep reading.
That lies within our authority.
All right, so I'll make it relevant to Chattanooga then. Desmond Logan was a Chattanooga police officer. In 2019, Logan was charged with rape and extortion. The first allegation came in 2015, but with the help of his fellow officers, the allegations were covered up and Logan continued to serve on the force. It took 2 more women accusing Logan of rape to even get Chief Roddy to acknowledge the problem in his own department, which he claims he had no knowledge of. Bad seeds equal bad fruit. Bad seeds in Hamilton County PD equal bad seeds all over. It doesn't matter. All cops are bad. I'm tired of hearing you say you can't do anything until you pass the budget because you are so eager to help the people. But as you have heard from your constituents day in and day out, this budget will do nothing for the problems at hand. And for Chairman Henderson, the defunding of the police is progression. Whether your white cis male mind can comprehend that. All Black Lives Matter. I yield my time. Y'all are disrespectful.
Miss Lydia Hannah Mask, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
All right. My name is Hannah Mask. I am in District 9, and I wanted to address 2 issues of concern. The first is our YFDs. I love our local YFDs, and I know that we have a lot of community members that work really hard to develop programs. But I think it's it's very important that information on them be more accessible to the general public. The city website offers minimal contact information and it has outdated information. For example, the career preparation page is still advertising a job skills bus tour from 2018. And the language connecting people to resources is confusing, especially to those with limited literacy or English proficiency. I work with refugee communities in District 9, and it's been challenging to encourage placemaking when it's difficult to connect with the local resources here. So I encourage you to consider devoting even more funding to improving those centers and their accessibility and capacity to work with other nonprofits and organizations in the community. And I also encourage the council to consider more participatory measures earlier on in the process for the future. And the last thing I wanted to address is that myself and my fellow Glass Farms residents are curious if the council has any information or an update on the status of the Save-A-Lot grocery store that has been under construction and unfinished for over a year. I know we are all anxious to no longer live in a food desert. I yield my time.
Thank you. I think that's Councilwoman Coonrod's district, is it not? If Councilwoman, if you would get with Ms. Mask. At this time, Ms. Lydia, would you bring up Landon Howard, please?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give us your name and district number, please.
My name's Landon Howard. I live in District 9. In the past, I've been involved with an organization called, and I'm still continually involved with an organization called Concerned Citizens for Justice. In 2017, we gave y'all me and us and a coalition of community members, including the Nation of Islam and American Tax Accountability. I forget their name. I'm sorry. I apologize. Gave y'all a presentation on what participatory budgeting could do. And so this whole idea that y'all don't know what to do is kind of, a misrepresentation of the truth, because y'all have heard us over and over, who filled your council seats over and over and over again, asking for y'all to actually have a democratic budgeting process, whereas we feel, many community members, including myself, feel that this budgeting process is just more or less appears, and we don't know where behind the scenes it's coming from, and almost always we're dissatisfied, and folks want to actually have a say in their community, and over and over and over again, just like now, folks, we're overwhelmingly 90% of the folks I hear are dissatisfied with that budget, and the fact that only one of y'all had some courage to vote against it, just to me, we do not live in a functioning democracy, and y'all are a bunch of cowards. I yield a portion of my time.
Christopher Dooley, Miss Lydia. Mr. Dooley. Let's see, where'd you go? There. Unmute your mic and give us your name and district, please.
I apologize. That's my first time up on this. I'm Chris Dooley. I live at 729 Sheer Cove Road in Chattanooga. I'm with Chip Henderson's district. I want to thank you for not divesting or defunding the police. In the groups that I travel in, not one person has supported that idea. I'm a retired Air Force colonel. I spent 30 years on active duty. I traveled all over the world, and I lived in such great places as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and my last assignment was in Afghanistan. I've seen firsthand what happens when you don't have a good police presence or an adequate police presence. And I'm very pleased that you have decided not to defund the police so we don't have anarchy or problems here. And I'd like to commend you for your courage. I know there's a great deal of folks who dislike what you've done, but thank you for doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Miss Lydia, Julie Harris.
Okay. She's on.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Give us your name and district number, please.
I am Julie Harris. I live in District 6. I called in before. You still do not have interpreters or closed captioning, like even through YouTube, you cannot turn it on, it appears you guys have like made it to where you can't access that. There are deaf people that do need that service and want to participate. You make it hard for us to like participate in this whole process. You want us to spoon feed you plans, which we have done, by the way, like line by line, and that we do that for free and out of our own time. And it still seems to get pushed aside. You don't want us to talk about anything non-city related, which I understand, but that is just like passing the buck, and it's abhorrent. Like, you've seen how the county runs, and you're not willing to like meet us or advocate for us to them. Who will? We're fighting 3 battles at once, and you guys just seem to keep passing the buck along. As far as CPD goes, like at the protest, when those 2 pedestrians were hit, that car has not even been looked for. That driver has not been found. There's a photograph of him. He's still out there. We're constantly speaking for change, and we're just not seeing it. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. Christopher Miller, Ms. Lydia.
Yes, sir.
Hello, this is Christopher Miller from District 9. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you.
I will be quick to speak, as there are other citizens who deserve to speak. First, I would like to say to those who uncritically support the police and refuse to consider changing their budget and responsibilities, I charge you with a lack of imagination and declare that imagination and ability to solve problems are a critical skill for our leaders. I would like to offer a scenario in which a person calls 911, and instead of automatically an armed officer arrives, a social worker or some sort of non-armed officer arrives for, say, domestic dispute, noise complaint, homeless person who is harassing customers, or other such smaller calls. Do you think that this would build trust with the community? Do you think it would unify our citizens? I believe it would. And I think that options such as that should be considered. And if you refuse to consider them, I declare you unfit for leadership. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lydia Martina Alford.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Hello, thank you. My name is Martina Alford. I am in District 6. And I would like to know, it was mentioned earlier that there were funds passed for updates to the YFD as well as the Police Training Center. I'd like to know how much of that is physical improvements, and has there been a discussion regarding possibly improving the programs by both of those entities? I'd also like to know that as a body that's there to advocate on our behalf, what is being done to reassure us that the voices of the citizens are actually being heard and the issues that we've brought forth are actually being addressed? If we give you all examples or we discuss with you all the things that we're facing, what's being done to let us know that not only are we being heard and understood the concerns that we're having, but also that there's either something being done about it or there are options available or in development, not only to be able to resolve the issues as it was meant before, that as it was said before, that we can have trust in you all, that you will be our voice, but also there's an overwhelming amount of unity that I've seen within the people of Chattanooga, and all of us are speaking with the voice of wanting unity and wanting change and wanting a better atmosphere for all of us. So if we come to you all as our council to speak on our behalf, what is it that's being done to assure us that that voice, not only when we give it to you all, but it's translated in such a way that we're being protected as citizens to be able to create a better atmosphere? Thank you.
Thank you for those questions, Ms. Alford. I would ask that you reach out to your council person, Councilwoman Burrs, and I think she would be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Miss Lydia Kate Caldwell, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you all. My name is Kate Caldwell. I live in District 7. I'll be reading a letter on behalf of the Chattanooga Friends meeting, and that means Quakers. So dear council members, the Chattanooga Friends meeting, Quakers, shares the urgent concern of Black Lives Matter demonstrators about making Black lives an actual priority in terms of policy and budget decisions made on behalf of all Chattanoogans. What does this look like? This means prioritizing the voice of Black community members who have been ignored and dismissed as unreasonable, when it is perfectly reasonable to demand that our city's budget and policies uphold the needs and well-being of Black community members. We specifically ask that the fiscal year 2021 budget under consideration gives priority to Chattanoogans who are unsafe under current policing practices. We ask that the newly formed Office of Community Resilience is fully funded and that it functions to meet the needs of Chattanoogans who have been ignored for too long by policymakers. We are disappointed that the present City Council is unwilling to pause the fiscal year 2021 budget process in order to allow for public consideration and discussion of the amended budget. Therefore, the Chattanooga Friends meeting demands that Black lives and Black voices be prioritized in the budget process for fiscal year 2022, and we will be dedicating our own time and energy to make sure this happens. We look forward to supporting you and working with you in your efforts to govern equally on behalf of all Chattanoogans. So with a concern for a peace founded in justice, the Chattanooga Friends meeting. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Caldwell. Casey Crook, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is
Good
Casey.
evening.
I live in District 3. I'm calling in briefly to talk about a line item that I noticed in the budget that particularly struck me was the court translation fee. I know that I've listened to quite a few of the recent city council meetings, and I noticed that there was a bit of confusion among a couple of members saying that protesters had kind of flip-flopped between saying we need to defund the police entirely, or divest from the police, or abolish the police, or dismantle the police. I wanted to take a second to try to clear that up for both the council and for anyone listening. What people are calling for is that the city of Chattanooga, and I mean the entire United States, examine its approach to law enforcement. And specifically in the cases of the court translation fee, there are so many small pieces of legislation, and there are so many small budgetary constraints and policy changes that we could make on such a small level to the city. That line item amounts to less than $6,000 or maybe less than $7,000 to the city. But if someone accused of a crime, not committed, not convicted, accused of a crime, doesn't understand English well enough to understand legalese in a courtroom, that person will have to pay a fine, as I understand it. And we need to change that at every level. We need to change that in a way that benefits everyone, that benefits especially the most vulnerable, especially those that find themselves in situations more often than not, Black and brown people. And I call on the council to continue to do that every day for the rest of your terms.
I have to let you know your time is up. Katie Johnson.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Katie Johnson. I live in District 2. I wanted to address the council today partly on, over the weekend, I was part of an organization that went line for line on the budget, as we were asked to do, because some of you folks on the council have decided that despite very clear calls for de-investment in the police and investment in communities, you're not really sure what to do with that. So we went over line by line to give suggestions on where we thought divestment in very specific police things, such as the new training facility that is being built that will cost $13 million over the next 5 years. And other things like the outrageous amount that is budgeted towards vehicle care and bullets, what we could do with those things instead. And for one, there are obviously tons of things that we could invest in, such as CARTA and places like that. But the real thing that stood out to me is how difficult it is to figure out exactly where the money is going. We have a real issue with these budgets. You can't expect the citizens to know exactly where things are placed when your own budgets are created to obscure that. I would like to echo the sentiments as everyone has before me, in that we really need to invest in the places that we value in this city. I think Chattanoogan's would say that they value their neighbors, the Black and brown people who are getting a bum deal in this city, over the idea of policing. Oh, and I did want to say, I watched the agenda meeting today, and one thing that really stood out to me was the fire social call program.
Ms. Johnson, I have to let you know that your time has expired. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, Miss Lydia, bring in Cheryl Greer, please.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Greer, and I'm in District 2. I just want to thank you all for the hard work you all continue to do to make sure that we are allotted this time to be able to give our statements or opinions. I do want to say that my opinion of not defunding the police, because we need our police officers, but we also need our police officers to come together to uplift the community so all citizens can feel safe. Once that is done, we will feel appreciated to have certain officers who love to do their job, who cares about the community and want to make it better for us. A lot of people have lived here for years and build relationship with some officers. And so we want to continue to keep that trust where we not only do we know we're protected, but also know that we can always encourage others that they can go and feel safe too when it comes to matters. So I say, let's keep moving forward with making sure they're taken care of, but also let's come up with some ideas to make sure that all of them are on the same page if possible. So I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lydia Brandy Persley, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Ms. Persley?
Yes, my name is Brandy Persley. I am a resident of District 2. And obviously it is too late to continue to talk about postponing the vote on this budget. And so what I'd like to do instead is really just speak to you all from the heart. And I guess I'm just really kind of sitting here feeling a little bit hopeless. And I'm wondering if our words are resonating. I'm wondering if you all are moved by any of these stories, by any of these people participating. And so I just kind of want to ask you all to really engage in some reflection about what you've heard from us and why we care so much. I spoke to you all a couple weeks ago as a mental health professional, and I told you that I have seen countless individuals who have been impacted negatively by police brutality, and I just hope that that matters. I hope that that matters to you. And I know that defunding the police and abolition sounds radical. And so I'm also just wondering if any of you have actually like read any articles or listened to any podcasts from people who have been dreaming about this work for a long time and seen how we could actually apply it. And so I'm just kind of begging at this point for you all to just really think about what you've heard here and do some research. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, council. I see no more hands at this time. What is your pleasure?
Excuse me, Chair.
Okay, hold on one. Mr. Vice Chair, we have a couple more hands up. Did we lose Ken?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Could you verify that all these individuals are registered to speak?
Yeah, miss the very first one for sure, Chair, and then I will verify the others.
Okay. Ms. Lydia, would you go ahead and bring in Pamela Gleiger?
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Pamela Kleiger and I'm in District 5. And I'm here speaking tonight. I would echo some of the people who've already spoken and ask you to think about reframing your thoughts. Defunding the police, it's been called decoupling the police, divesting. I think we all want to reach the point where everybody has the experience that now only a few have, where they experience the relationship with the police as one of trust, as one of welcoming. We heard a story a week or two ago from one of the council people about a child running to hug a police officer when she saw them. That should be every child's experience. And it's clearly not the case currently here in Chattanooga or in many places across the nation. So instead of this being an antagonistic discussion, this should be, how can we reshape the relationships in Chattanooga and use all of that money, our tax dollars, to reshape, to reposition the police as a line of defense against external forces that are creating problems and obstacles for people to thrive in our neighborhoods. You all chose a life of public service for a reason, and I would ask you to reflect on what those reasons were and how you can set the tone for lives at all stages to continue that relationship with the police in a positive light. Thank you.
Thank you. Julia Casey, please.
Yes, sir.
Y'all can hear me?
We can, go ahead.
Okay. All right. According to Concerned Citizens for Justice, over 5,000 people have reached out to y'all and the mayor via petitions, phone calls, emails, and in some cases, in-person meetings to discuss how the city should divest from CPD and invest into Black and Brown communities through the YFD and transportation departments. And we've seen the outpouring of overwhelming support for the same goals via the public comments here. However, after all of this, I have not seen you all respond to our comments publicly. And last week, you showed a very clear way, and today, that you do not consider what the people have to say important, as you voted your initial and final approval of the alternative budget before we were even allowed to speak. If y'all, and it was a joke of amount of time that we were allowed to speak last week, if y'all are so immature that you're going to let one satirical meme by one person hurt your feelings so much that you deny everyone else their right to be heard, then you should not be in office. You are in the public arena and your actions are subject to public critique, especially when you're not going to engage in a back and forth discourse with us. And if it was not about hurt feelings and that was just y'all looking for an excuse to silence us, and that's not democracy. And yet again, y'all voted on finalizing it today without hearing from us first. CCJ has been asking for a participatory budget process since 2017 and trying to engage with y'all for many years before then, as Jared Story stated last week. There's no excuse for the obscene amount of money given to cops. We have too many cops. The cops have too many weapons, too many bullets, too much tear gas, too many concussion grenades. Cops do not need an abundance of these things. They need to learn how to de-escalate with Black and brown folks as well as they are able to de-escalate with white people. There's no reason cops need military grade anything. What kind of message is that to send to communities when police suit up like they're going into a war zone? There's no reason cops should have tanks or be bringing them into neighborhoods that they over-police. Like when a SWAT mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle was brought into the Avondale Rec Center and presented like a piece of playground equipment rather than a deadly machine as was done at a community event there a few years ago. It's absolutely
Ms. Case,
Go
absurd.
ahead and take her out and bring in Bree Gross Handler, please.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Bree Gross Handler. I represent the interests of District 7. I'd like to start off by saying that I'm extremely disappointed in the council for anticipating that we, your constituents, are expected to not only pay our taxes for you to have a job and then to essentially do your job. I know that when I show up to work, I'm anticipated to do what is set on my plate, and you all have failed in doing so. I'd like to use the rest of my time in order to read off some of the non-budgetary recommendations that have been made through the DSA that have been presented to you, starting with implementing a CPD hiring freeze, suspend paid administrative leave for officers under investigation, refuse to hire officers terminated from any police department, terminate CPD officers found guilty of excessive force and render them ineligible to collect pensions, cap officers' compensatory time and overtime pay accrual, eliminate overtime pay for military-style training exercises, formally withdraw CPD from militarization programs. Other things that you can do to divest, which you have proven that you will not do, but possibly in the future, delaying of new law enforcement training center construction, changing to the CPT overtime policies, cuts to the investigative services division, cuts to the real-time intelligence center, elimination of polygraph use, cuts to data processing services, and to reliance on asset forfeitures. Lastly, with the rest of my time, I want to say that I've been trying to speak to you all for 3 weeks and I've been muted each week. I'm extremely disappointed in your lack of show of willingness to have democracy. Also, it's extremely rude of you to not show your faces while I'm speaking. It is disrespectful and unhonorable. Lastly, I would like to say that we are about to be in an extreme industry disruption with electric vehicles, replacing internal combustible engine vehicles, and to consider that when considering the next 5-year budget. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Steve McDonald.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, go ahead.
Yes, that's Steve McDonald. I'm in District 2. I want to second the multiple recommendations made by the previous commenter. I think they're responsive to the council's repeated requests for ideas of what can be done differently. And I would advise the council and anyone else listening that if they go on Facebook and search for Chattanooga Democratic Socialists of America, they can find that complete list. Again, that's Chattanooga Democratic Socialists of America on Facebook. I yield the balance of my time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm being told that Miss Woodard, Tamara Woodard, is not registered.
That's correct.
I see no other hands raised at this time. Council, what is your pleasure?
Move adjourn.
We are adjourned. Ms. Pia, would you end our session, please?
Yes.